Owning a home in Naperville is about living a great life today and investing in a secure tomorrow. On this show, we're going to give you the tools to do both. Welcome to the Naperville Real Estate Weekly Market Update.
Hey, Naperville, it is Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to the Naperville Real Estate Weekly Market Update. I'm your host, Chris Grano with Keller Williams, and this is my first broadcast of the new year. And, you know, it's been about a month and a half since I've joined you here. Took a little time off over the holidays to reset and wanted to bring you as much value as possible in 2021. So with that in mind, we've retooled the podcast, retooled the market update so that you can be as educated as possible in every different facet of your real estate journey. So with that in mind, I brought on a fantastic co-host to join me weekly to bring you great information. And so I want to introduce you, my good friend with Compass Mortgage, Mr. Todd Gosden. Todd, thanks for joining the show.
Hey, thanks, Chris. This is going to be great. Nothing better than educating people and showing people what's going on in the marketplace. This is awesome.
Absolutely. How's your new year treating you so far?
New Year's treating me great. Yeah, lots and lots of people looking to buy, and that's what we're here to do, is help them, update them, and get them information to help them do so, right?
Absolutely. And we're going to dive into, what that activity looks like in just a second. So what I always do on the podcast, and will continue to do, is we're going to dive right into the numbers. We're going to talk, if anyone's new to the podcast, we're going to talk about what the activity is on a week-to-week basis for selling and buying. And Todd's going to talk about the mortgage rates and about what applications are doing. We're also going to talk to you. We're going to give at least one tip every week, a little bit of new information for you to carry with you, whether you're in the buying process, the selling process, or maybe you're just right in the middle of home ownership and you're trying to figure out, what can I do to secure my investment for the future? So let's dive right in and look at this week's new listings. Todd, this week, 84 new listings in Naperville. And for some context for our viewers, that number's up from 36 new listings the week before Christmas. Is that crazy or what?
Wow. That's a lot. That's more than double.
Yeah, exactly. And we expect, as we go into the holidays, that numbers will be low. But, even for further context on that, let's just go back to, the end, even mid-November, even before the holidays. We were at 60 new listings, 35, 57. So 84 new listings is mammoth. It really tells me that people are ready to engage in real estate once again.
Big numbers, and they're doing very early in the year. Very early in the year. We're almost 3 weeks into the year, and you're seeing those kind of numbers. That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's pair that with the number of homes under contract this week, 75 homes under contract. So again, for comparison's sake, we look back 1 month ago, 51 homes under contract. So I know you're seeing it and I'm seeing it. Buyers are active, right?
Super active. There's significance in what's going on right now. We haven't seen anything like this in a very long time, with people being this engaged in the marketplace so soon. Really incredible numbers.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that about how soon in the year it is, and that's actually going to underscore what we're going to talk about in just a couple minutes about that shift of the seasonality. So that'll be great. Now, when we look at properties sold, okay, so that's properties that closed this week. I always remind our viewers, and that's going to be properties that are, went under contract 1 to 2 months ago, okay? But that number is actually surprisingly low. 36 homes closed this week only. So, there could be different factors there, but it says to me that, 1 to 2 months ago, we were right around the holidays. It kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, totally. It's early. This is the surge right now of coming up. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the next 60 to 90 days looks like. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we always talk about inventory, and that's really been the story of 2020 and going into 2021. And so the way I like to break this down for our listeners and our viewers is we go by 3 different price brackets in Naperville, okay? So first we're going to look at under $500,000 because that's really going to be the sort of first-time home buyer market, really just the meat of the market. Then we're going to look at between $500,000 and $1 million. And then we're going to look at the luxury homes, the homes over $1 million. So when we look at the price range under $500,000, we're at a month's supply of inventory. And I know you know what this means, Todd, but just for a refresher for any new listeners or viewers, what that means is it's the pace of the market. So in other words, if no new homes came on the market, how many months would it take for all of that to clear off? And in this case, it's just over 2.5 months, which is a really quick market and which points to a strong seller's market. Okay. 59 days on market is the average time that a home is on the market in that price range. So just under 2 months to sell. When we go up to the 500 to 1 million, this is what caught my eye, Todd, and I think you might be surprised at this as well, is that when we were in December, the MSI for this price range was 2.89. Here, only 1 month later, 5.82.
So what's that mean to our viewers?
Well, that means that the inventory has has doubled in 1 month.
Right.
The pace of the market has slowed that much, not because buyers aren't buying, because everybody decided to list their home in that price range at the exact same time. And I've been saying it since last summer. We don't know how long this low inventory is going to stick around. And there's some indicators here that in that 500 to 1 million, which is a large range, right? But there's indicators that that inventory is building very quickly.
Very rapidly. Yep. And we hope that it continues to do that. We need that for all the buyers.
That's right. It's good news for buyers, right? Fantastic news for buyers. Not as good for sellers.
Not as good. There has to be a balance.
That's right. All right. And then when we look at the homes over 1 million, we break this down by a 3-month average. Obviously, there's less properties for sale over 1 million here in Naperville, but we're looking at MSI, month supply of inventory, of 11.2. So that's pretty typical in this luxury market. There's going to be larger inventory levels, and that number is only up slightly from the end of last year. Still looking at about 9 months on average to sell a property in that price range. So Todd, now that we've kind of understood where the inventory is at, tell us a little bit. Everybody wants to know, what's the mortgage market doing?
Well, it's interesting. You know, well, obviously last year was an historic year for interest rates. Interest rates hit lows that have really, truly never been seen. And I think it was somewhere around the 14 to 15 times they hit new lows, which is incredible, right? So when you're seeing 15-year rates at 2 or 2.125%, and you're seeing interest rates for 30-year mortgages at 2.5, 2.625, 2.75, anywhere in that area on a given day, that is significance, because what you're seeing is tremendous purchasing power for the buyer, right? And that's meaningful, because that means that from January to the end of December, you were seeing $30,000 to $35,000 in purchasing power based on the same payment you had a year ago, which is incredible. The number.
Yeah, it's unreal.
So significance is there. Obviously, the opportunity to buy at these interest rates, even if interest rates start creeping up a little bit, is still so incredibly valuable to the buyer right now that's why you're seeing the tremendous onslaught of buyers coming into the market, right? There is no shortage of people wanting to buy. There's a shortage of inventory, as you just discussed.
Right. So
there's plenty of opportunities there, and there's plenty of buyers, but there's a balance that has to be had this year for this to really work, because we're seeing anywhere from 5, 10, 15, 20 offers per home, and seeing, I heard yesterday of talking to someone that 70 people walked through a house. An open house. So that tells you that people are like, how do I get to be first in line for this house? Right. And that's what they're looking for.
Yeah. And so can you give us kind of a benchmark, as we'll track this going on throughout the year? And obviously our viewers and our listeners need to remember that the interest rate that you get is going to be dependent on a lot of different factors, on your credit, on your, on the daily rate. And there's a lot of different factors there. But if you can give us kind of a benchmark, Todd, where's the 30-year at roughly right now?
Yeah. And what determines that typically is loan to value, how much equity you're going to put down on a house to purchase it, and also credit score. Now, there's many other factors that go into that. That's why no one person looking at interest rate is going to be the same. But let's say hypothetically 2.625 to 2.75 on a well-qualified buyer. And well-qualified meaning the credit's there and the down payment's there and a few other situations. So, but regardless of that, even if you're super well-qualified, or maybe you're not so much, there's still tremendous opportunity, because rates are as low as they've ever been.
Right.
So and that means for everyone
Right.
has that opportunity to be able to purchase a home at a very low interest rate right now.
Yeah. And this is a time too that, I've been personally a proponent of the 15-year mortgage for a long time. And obviously the 30-year allows you a little bit expand your price range. But for those people who, have the ability to do the 15, I mean, the rates here are incredibly low as well, right? I mean, what's kind of, again, for a really well-qualified buyer, what are we looking at for a 15-year rate?
Depending on the day, because people don't realize rates change throughout the day, up and
Of
down.
course.
It moves like
Of
a
course.
stock. 2.125, 2.25. If somebody's putting down enough equity, maybe even 2% on a really special day,
Yeah.
those numbers are crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
you're really, really fantastic opportunity for people right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And for folks to refi as well, right? I mean, if you're in a high 3 or a low 4, and now might be the time to get from a 30 to a 15
Yep.
and pay your house off faster, right?
Well, even maybe lower. I mean, we have
Right.
clients who have gone from 20 years to 10 years, 7 years over that same period of time. So the opportunities, you have your values going up because equity is building and you're getting these low interest rates. People are being able to pay off their homes much faster.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So all that in mind, and you brought this up a few minutes ago, and I'm so glad you did. Let's talk a little bit, to end our show here today about the seasonality of things. A lot of people just make these assumptions that, well, hey, the real estate market is active in the spring and the summer, right? Because we're in Chicago, and on a day like today, when I woke up and it was, a feels like temperature of 1 degree outside, most people, and by the way, my furnace, my thermostat went out on me last night, and I woke up a 59-degree house. but people think, well, this isn't when real estate happens, right? Nobody buys and sells homes in January, right?
Quite contrary.
Right.
People
And
are buying
yeah,
clothes right now, right there. The opportunity throughout the wintertime is so tremendous because there are real buyers and real sellers looking to do something during those times, right? And when you see even through the season of November and December, people think that not many people buy and sell. Contrary, they do. A lot of times we'll see November and December being two of the best months of the entire year because people are finding significance in being able to do it because somebody's truly coming in and offering something on a house that they want to sell and somebody else wants to buy.
Yeah, that's right. And, the thing about, I always tell sellers, I had this conversation, at kitchen tables several times over the last couple of weeks. Folks say, well, there aren't as many buyers out there. Well, right now, that's actually not true. But even if we were talking about a more typical year, sure, are there less bodies out on the street looking for homes in January than June or May? Yeah, maybe. But they're also more serious buyers, right? Because who in Chicago is out looking at homes during a snowstorm? Real people who have real money and need to buy a house,
Right. And frankly, generally speaking, there's not a single month that's not bad to buy or sell because there's always someone looking to buy or sell. So
That's right.
That fallacy or that myth of saying, hey, the best time to buy is end of April, May, June, early July, maybe well, that's perception that you may think, but it's not reality. The reality is that there's never a bad time to buy or sell because there's always somebody on the other side looking to do it.
Yeah, and ultimately it's up to what's best for your life, right? It's not necessarily always about the numbers on a micro scale. If you're ready to, for a new home, you're ready for a new home.
That's right. And I always tell clients, don't discount the fact that there's other months other than those 3.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Just know that when you're ready, then talk to a professional like you, Chris, and figure out where is that opportunity to be able to capitalize on doing something that I want to do now versus waiting 4, 5, 6, 7 months to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Todd, I can't thank you enough. I'm so excited about you being a part of this podcast. I think our viewers and listeners are going to get a lot of value out of it. We're going to be here every week bringing these numbers and some of this insight to you. So certainly make sure to follow us on all the platforms that we're available on. We're on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/Chris Grano. And you can go to find us on all of the major podcast platforms, including Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can find good podcasts. You're going to find me and Todd bringing this information to you every week. Hope you guys have a fantastic week ahead. Todd, I'll see you next Wednesday.
Have a good day.
All right. Bye, everybody.